Hello everyone, my name is TearsWithin. I have never made a commentary ever in my life, or a RuneScape video, but I have been recently requested to make a QBD guide because I have successfully been able to kill the QBD and get some pretty good loots. And I decided that I should help everyone in learning how to kill it efficiently. So what I'm going to do is explain some of the abilities I use, and get to the armors, and show you how to kill it. Alright, now to get to the abilities, I use the Binding Shot, Piercing Shot, Fragmentation, Ricochet, Snipe, Bombardment, Rapid Fire, Dead Shot, Unload, Anticipation, Freedom, and Momentum. These last two, Freedom and Momentum, they're not really used on the QBD, but you can attach them to your ability bar for range for just about anything. Now, these first 5 abilities are basic shots to help build up your adrenaline to get to your thresholds and your ultimates. The Binding Shot doesn't do much to the QBD, it's just more of an adrenaline gainer. The Piercing Shot does great damage to the QBD and can be used also to get your adrenaline up. The Fragmentation Shot will bleed your enemy, causing damage over time. And that's very good in certain circumstances with the QBD. Also with the Tortured Souls, which will be explained later. The Ricochet will hit the QBD and anything around it, causing damage to others. The Snipe will take a few seconds to hit, but it deals great damage when it does hit. But if you don't want it to hit, it'll gain your adrenaline even if you don't shoot. The Bombardment, I don't really use that much, but it can be used for a quick threshold ability to deal some damage. The Rapid Fire is greatly used. It shoots several shots over a period of 6 minutes, I believe, and deals a lot of damage pretty quickly. The Dead Shot is your ultimate, which pretty much deals a really high hit and bleeds your enemy like 800, and it really helps with the QBD. The Unload is used with 2 dual-wielded weapons, so Chaotic Crossbows or Rune Crossbows, and usually caps out at a certain hit. I believe it's 1,500, 3,000, something like that, and deals a lot of damage over a period of 6 seconds, I believe. And the Anticipation, it says you consecrate or anticipate your foes attacks, reducing all damage taken by 10% and providing immunity from stuns for 10 seconds. What that means is pretty much all damage dealt to you is reduced by 10%. That 10% helps a lot in some circumstances, maybe Tortured Souls. And Freedom and Momentum, like I said, they're not really used that much. But you could use them, they really wouldn't do anything. Now I'm going to move on to the next clip, and I'm going to show you what armors to use, and what weapons are good to use, and possibly move on to the inventory. Alright, so you're probably wondering the name of Kernix or Armadale for the QBD, because you might want that extra life point boost, or the extra defense for magic, whatever it is. You honestly really do not. I use Royal Beehide, Believe in Boots, the Archer's Ring, Net's Not Helmet, Ammo to Fury, Ava's Alerter, and Polemancer Gloves for the armors. Your weapons can vary. I use the Crystal Ball a lot because I tested out with the Chaotic Crossbows when I was first starting, and I didn't know the Crystal Bow was actually pretty good. But while I was using the Chaotic Crossbows, I did not know that the Royal Bolts were just as good as Onyx Bolts. And with the EoC update, you are able to use Royal Bolts with the Chaotic Crossbows. I have not used it at the QBD yet, but later in the video I will show you the Chaotic Crossbows with the Royal Bolts against the QBD, and I will also show you the Crystal Bow and the Royal Crossbow. Now the Crystal Bow's damage is pretty damn high, and it's pretty accurate. In my opinion, it's pretty much the third best bow in the game. I mean, other people have different opinions, but it matches up with the chaotic crossbows dual wielded with the bolts attached, and I'm not really sure how much different they are, but we will probably find out later in the video. Now, getting back to the armors, this is pretty much all you need. You don't really need a Fury, but it does give that extra prayer bonus. Bleeding boots, I honestly don't use them. These are not mine. My friend let me borrow them. I usually use the Kiln Cape or Steadfast Boots because I can't be bothered to lose my alerter if I were to die. And it really doesn't make that much of a difference from what I know. I get really fast kills either way. I highly recommend wearing a Penance Aura because every damage that's dealt to you, it restores your prayer. So this gives you about an hour of use, and when I use it for that hour, I usually get about 10 kills from the QBD, which adds up pretty nicely in loot. Probably about 3 to 5 now. But yeah, the Royal D'hide and Fury, it's not helmet. This is pretty much all you need. It's not that much. You could use snakeskin boots if you prefer. I don't use an archer ring either. I honestly wear a ring of dueling for a quick bang. And yeah. But next, I'm going to go over the summoning familiars that you may need, the requirements for the summoning you will need, and get onto the inventory and show you exactly what you'll need. And then we'll get onto the QBD, and I'll show you some tactics that you can use, and show you how you can get that nice reward. Alright, now onto the familiar recommendations. You're going to need either an Iron Titan or a Steel Titan. You don't really need a familiar, but these two Titans are highly recommended for quick kills and help you kill it pretty efficiently. Now you could use a Tortoise or a Yak to store more food if you don't have access to these two Titans. I believe the Iron Titan is 95 summoning and the Steel Titan is 99. The Iron Titan will use TearsWithin scrolls, which are about 300 GP each. The Iron Titan will use Steel of Legend scrolls, which are about 700 GP each. Now, along with these two familiars, you will also need Super Anti-Fire Pots, which is 85 Herblore. And in order to use the Crystal Bow, the Royal Crossbow, or the Dual Chaotic Bows, you will definitely need this. Now, I'm going to move on to the inventory and show you what you're going to need for that, and move on to the kill. Alright, for your inventory, I use Dreadnips. You don't really need Dreadnips, but they help to an extent. If you are able to access Dreadnips and get them as a reward, I recommend actually getting them. I use a prayer renewal flask, and this just helps slow down my prayer drain, even though I hardly use prayer. The Super Anti-Fire I put next to it. I have 3 prayer potions down to my right. Now with the Penance Aura on, I don't even drink a prayer pot at all. I would very rarely drink a prayer pot. But without the Penance Aura, I usually drink maybe about 2 of these. So I just keep them there either way. I take 3 summoning flasks, which will be for the Steel Titan, to restore its spec and use its special against the QBD as much as possible because it does a lot of damage, which you will see later. And then the rest of my inventory is just rocktails. Now, I have my archer ring on right now, but what I'm gonna do is switch out a rocktail, and don't want that. You want the ring of dueling. you don't really need the Ring of Dueling, but because you have your Penance Aura and you're on a 1-hour timer, you're going to want to switch, right click it, and teleport to Mobilizing Armies for just a really quick bang. Now, this is really all you need for an inventory. Now, if you were to use a yak or a tortoise, because you cannot use a steel titan or iron titan, you can fill that completely with rocktails. Now, rocktails are fairly cheap now. They're 700 GP each. So if you were to die with a tortoise and a yak, you're probably going to lose a lot of money with the rocktails stored in there. But with this method, you don't really eat that much food. Now, I'm going to move on to a kill with a crystal bow and walk you through the kill because I recommend the crystal bow over the chaotic crossbows any day. And I'm going to do 2 other kills with the chaotic crossbows and the royal crossbow and speed up the kill and commentate over it and explain any other things that need to be explained. And that's it. Alright, for those who don't know how to get to the QBD, all you have to do is click Home Teleport and teleport to Port Sarum once you have your inventory set up and you have your familiar summons or whatever you're going to use. And then you will end up at this lodestone. What you do from this lodestone is just run quickly north, renew any summoning points that you want, and just enter this cave and run through. And then you have to run to this shortcut. I'm not really quite sure what the agility level is for it. I think it's 60 or something. Most people have it. You just right click it and slide down. Bunch of bots. And this is the entrance to the QBD. Now all you have to do is just click pass through. And you're at the QBD. Now entering the QBD, I quickly put on my Anguish and Soul Split, and then activate my aura. Now as the QBD is waking up, she growls, and once she growls, I drink my pots, I use my summoning scroll, I attack, deploy a dreadnought, put my titan on the QBD, and I usually shift between piercing shot and fragmentation just to get my adrenaline up quickly. And as you see, my titan's hitting constantly. I spam my titan special. Now this is the fire wave. What you want to try and do is run to where the gap is in the wave to avoid any damage. You see my dreadnought was gone, so I'm going to deploy another. And what I'm about to use is rapid fire. Now it constantly hits. It shoots rapid shots over the period of 6 seconds. Now my titan ran out of special, so I'm going to drink a summoning flask to restore its special. Now the QBD's first stage is almost done. Once it's done, you click the beacon to go to the next stage. Now the next stage is going to have tortured souls that she summons, and they speak or say a chant, whatever it is, as you can see right here. And what you want to do is, right as it says it, you want to move out of the way and avoid the attack so it attacks the tortured soul and damages it. Now I have a full adrenaline bar, and what I'm going to do is use dead shot right here. And as you see, it's like snipe. It takes a couple of seconds, but it hits, and then it just bleeds it. It's bleeding it for a 500 right now, which deals a lot of damage over time. And as you can see, I'm trying to avoid the fire waves here. Titan's out of special again. And what I'm going to do is try and use my adrenaline. Get it up. Avoid this attack. Now the second stage is almost done. then you run over here and click this beacon. If you run over here and try to click the beacon, if it's not up, you're going to get hit for probably about 3-second intervals of 1,500, which really do add up. Now on the second phase, going into the third, she will summon 2 tortured souls at the same time. What you want to do is when they speak, or chant, whatever it is, you want to try and move towards one and make their special attack hit each other. And what you want to do for the QBD is pretty much spam the rapid fire as much as you can when it is able to be used. And the same with Deadshot. The rapid fire has such a really quick cooldown, so you're able to use it a lot. The Deadshot, I recommend it like when you're in a tough position, maybe the last stage, because she does summon those 4 tortured souls, which can be a pain. Now the third one, just run over here and click it. Now as you see, I'm hardly eating food. It's not a time stop. Whoops. Okay. So the 4th stage is, I don't know, probably the hardest because of the time stop, and you have to avoid so many tortured souls. And honestly, the 4th stage is the only stage I see that my Titan doesn't really listen to me. But you pretty much have to get it onto the QBD as quickly as possible. The 4 tortured souls, you want to try to move out of the way. I just got hit for 4,000 there. That kind of makes me mad, but it doesn't really hurt you, honestly. It hits, but it doesn't affect you to the point where it would really hurt. I'm going to use rapid fire here, and I quickly pull out a Titan special. Use this, and this is the time stop over here in this corner. I want to try and kill this. If you don't have enough time to kill the time stop, which I'm going to do here, all you want to just eat up. You want to eat up the full HP, because if the tortured souls use their special, it'll stack damage, and so will the QBD's damage, as you can see there. Now what I'm going to do is pretty much put everything on the QBD in the last stage. You want to use as much as possible. Now the QBD is just about dead, and I just killed it. So what I'm going to do is run over here, I'm going to hit this, and everything after this will just completely die. And the QBD will go back to her sleep. Now, I did eat a lot of food, but that kill was pretty much just a prayer renewal, so it was about 5 minutes. I usually drink 2 anti-fire doses. You don't really need to, but it's just to be safe. Now, throughout the whole kill, I did kind of spam these abilities, but I alternated between the piercing shot, fragmentation, and ricochet, because they do damage unlike the binding shot. The snipe I've only used, I think, once or twice. The fragmentation bled her as I used my rapid fire, so that was stackable damage along with the steel titan special, which did its 4-hit spec. I didn't really use dreadnips much. I tried to, but I wasn't really thinking about it. I usually only use about 3 to 4 a kill. Now to move on to the reward, you just open this bin, and this is the reward. It's kind of average loot, but it all adds up over 10 kills. And then you just simply hit bank all. Now after this, you can either click pass through here and go to the surface or the underground for another kill. But what I'm going to do is just pop on my Ring of Dueling and go to mobilizing armies. Then from here, I'm just going to teleport right to the GE. Do a quick bank. Okay, so these next 2 clips I sped up. In the first clip, I'm going to be using the Royal Crossbow, and in the second clip, I'm going to be using the Chaotic Crossbow's dual wielder. Now, Through this kill with the Royal Crossbow, it went down pretty nicely. The Royal Crossbow was more accurate than I thought. Its hits were very high. Its damage output was insane, in my opinion. My Titan, in the beginning, what I did was I used its special. So that way, throughout the kill, its special would restore quicker, which would save me a summoning class dose, which can help later on in the kill. Using less doses is saving you money. Now, the Royal Crossbow, it really was pretty good, in my opinion. The abilities that I tried to strive for with it were definitely Rapid Fire and definitely Deadshot. Now, I used a lot of fragmentation to make it bleed because it was hitting really accurately. It hit just about every time, so the bleed effect damaged it over time a lot. Now, using the abilities, like I said, you really want to just get to the Rapid Fire. It does so much damage over time. It just takes down the QBD's health. It's ridiculous. And the Titan definitely, it really definitely helps. Now, all these fire waves, I was running through a lot of them, and I was taking a lot of hits from them. But that is also because I was using the Penance Aura. Now, what the Penance Aura does, I'll go over it again. Every time you get hit, your prayer gets restored. So, I was low on prayer, and I needed a restore, so I decided to get hit. Right here, I got time stopped, and the Tortured Souls hit me. And you saw the damage. It was pretty high. It was probably about a 6,000 damage maybe because of all the other hits that I was hit by. But I had my anticipation on before it, so 10% of every damage dealt to me was reduced just by a bit. But all you do is make sure you're up to full HP and just spam through. Now I'm banking here. I'm just grabbing my chaotic crossbows here. Like I said before in the video, all you do is home teleport to Fort Sound. Head north, and enter the cave. Slide down here and pass through. The chaotic crossbows, when I used them last night, I tested them out with a friend. I realized as I used abilities that it only used one bow at a time, so effectively it's slowing down your damage per second because you have two bows and you're only using one bow for an ability. Unload is the only ultimate that uses both of your chaotic crossbows, which does do a lot of damage and it does help. But I just find it not as effective as the Royal Crossbow or the Crystal Bow. Now both these skills with the Royal Crossbow and the Chaotic Crossbows, they were probably about the same speed. The Royal Crossbow was actually a bit faster. But your Titan does most of your damage with the QBD. Your abilities you want to use mainly are Fragmentation, Piercing Shot, Rapid Fire, and Deadshot. If you're going to use the Chaotic Crossbows, you want to alternate between Deadshot and Unload. I recommend Unload for the last stage. The Tortured Souls, you really want to try and get that click away from them once they spawn so you can damage one of the souls with the cloud so you don't get hurt, because it really does help. But you can get hit by them and still manage a kill. It really isn't that hard. So the loots I got from my QBD kills that I did after these two clips and these clips, they weren't that great. They were just average loot. Now, high reward loots you're not gonna get all the time, but they are pretty common, and all the small loots, the average loots, they do add up pretty quickly when you do these kills if you're using kills just with your penance aura or doing kills for fun with prayer pots. The money does add up. I mean, it's probably about 3 to 5 mil an hour, which is, I believe, maybe the best money-making method in the game right now. I could be wrong. But these kills were pretty nice. The loots were okay. And I really do hope this guide does help everyone. And I hope you guys get effective kills. As I've said before, this is my first commentary, and I apologize for any screw-ups in the video, commentary-wise. I have not recently had a YouTube channel for RuneScape videos. I have made one. I'm going to upload this video to my channel, and hopefully it gets to you guys, and this video helps you out in killing the TBD efficiently and get some nice loots and make that cash per hour that most people would like to have. If you have any questions about killing the TBD or anything else, you can PM me. My RSN is TearsWithin. If I am not online, then you can join my friends chat, which is also TearsWithin. I am always in my friends chat, and I'll gladly answer any questions you have. And please leave a comment at the bottom of the video, and I will read them, and I will get back to all of you and help you out with anything you need. I hope this video helped, and I hope you guys have a nice day.